Earth is attacked by an alien race known as the Formix in the future, killing a significant number of humanity. The attack was stopped by a pilot known as Mazer, who crashed his fighter jet against the Formic Queen's battleship and died. For the next 50 years, the international fleet is designed and it recruits teenagers to become soldiers who one day will guide their fleet to an attack back. In addition to being trained through war video games, these children are also monitored by a neck-mounted monitor. One of their finest players is Ender, whose skills sometimes make other kids think he's cheating. However, he never responds to the insult. Colonel Graf thinks Ender is the soldier they need. However, Major Anderson is doubtful because they require more than just military skills. They also need the mindset of a leader. One morning, Ender is called to the clinic to get his monitor removed, which means he's out of the program. The next day, Ender is surrounded by jealous kids who accuse him of cheating and want to beat him. After losing the monitor, Ender quickly defends himself and beats up the leader before threatening everyone. Graf and Anderson are still monitoring all this through other cameras, and Graf is proud of Ender's actions. When Ender returns home, he tells his sister Valentine about what happened. He feels sorry about how violently he reacted because he doesn't want to become like his brother Peter, who was expelled from the program for his rude attitude. When Valentine tries to support Ender, Peter interrupts their conversation by getting, however, Ender doesn't react and he's left alone when he doesn't react. Later during lunch, Ender's parents try to remind him there's nothing to be ashamed of when suddenly Graf and Anderson show up at their door. In fact, they confirmed Ender passed because his decision to beat up the other kid was tactical. He did not do it to hurt other people. He did it to avoid them bothering him again. It turns out that taking out the monitor had been a test to see how Ender would behave without it. Graf thinks Ender's mind is as remarkable as Mazer's and wants him to come back. If he accepts, he'd be graduating to battle school without the monitor. Ender accepts and he's taken to the shuttle that will carry him and other kids to battle school. There, Ender meets Bean and Eli, who can't help vomiting up when the shuttle takes off. Graf comes to check on everyone, and when Ender makes a joke, Graf informs the other children that Ender is the smartest kid in the class. This puts everyone's attention on Ender in a strange way. When they arrive at the school, Ender tells Graf that his small information made everyone hate him, but Graf explains the army needs their own dictator to win this war. A student teasing Ender for thinking he's better than everyone greets him when he goes to his room. Their conversation is interrupted by Sergeant Dapp. His instructions are rather condescending and he reminds them that teamwork is key to survival. Later in class, Graf reminds everyone of their responsibilities and plays a video of Mazer's victory, which Ender finds incomplete. The next morning, the team is taken to the battle room, which has zero gravity. Graf makes Ender demonstrate first, and the rest of the kids follow him quickly, slowly getting used to the lack of direction. Upon testing their weapons, Ender and Ben discover that the shots freeze any body part they touch. After some hours of practicing, Graf calls everyone back and explains that this is the room where they'll be battling against other school teams. Then Dapp tells the rules of the game. They get 5 points for a hit to a limb and 6 for a torso hit, but if either side gets one player through their enemy's gate unharmed, that army will win regardless of points. For the following 3 months, Ender spends his days training in the school and writing emails to his sister Valentine, although he never receives a reply. Formic flight patterns and hand-in-hand combat are studied in training, keeping them aggressive and making Ender feel like Peter. Ender's still not sure anyone truly understands their enemy, especially because nobody tells them exactly what Mazer did to defeat the entire alien army last time. In spite of Graf's request for Ender to lead, Ender finds it difficult because everyone is so different and he has to eat alone every day. A few people in the higher ranks failed to meet the criteria to get into command school, so Graf informs the class that this could be an opportunity for these students to be promoted. Ender asks Graf if their emails are being blocked, and Graf confirms all communication is being temporarily blocked back. Afterward, Dapp makes Ender do push-ups while insulting him, reminding him not to speak to him. After Dapp leaves, Ender is astonished to see the other kids now looking at him with respect. The next day, a teacher tells them there are only 3 passing students: Eli, Bean, and Ender. Bernard accuses them of cheating. In order to explain some exercises, the teacher asks Ender to demonstrate, but Ender says Eli and Ben understand the concept better, so the teacher calls on Eli. Ender writes something about Bernard and sends it back, making him mad. While Eli explains his answers, Bernard writes insults about Eli's weak stomach on everyone's screens. The teacher hears him complain, and when she sees what's happening, she tells Bernard not to dish it out if he can't take it. During lunch, the class joins Ender, leaving Bernard behind. In the afternoon, Ender finds a video game on his iPad and tries it out while Eli stares at him. There is a choice between 2 goblets that Ender has to make in the game, but whichever choice Ender makes, the rat dies. In order to pass the level, he makes the rat attack the troll handing out the goblets. Eli doesn't understand why, and Ender explains that the academy is training them to be violent. This game is being watched by Graf and Anderson because it's another test, and Anderson is astonished by Ender's solution because this has never happened before. Moreover, Ender's promotion to the Salamander army, which is known for for its undefeated record confirms Graf's belief that Ender is the perfect soldier. Ender meets Petra, the only girl in the Salamander's army. He also meets the leader Bonzo, who is angry to see Ender as his new team member because he thinks he's weak, skinny, and short. Bonzo tells Ender he'll trade him as soon as he can, and for now, he doesn't want him getting in the way. Ender is instructed by Bonzo to enter the battle room and remain in a corner until the team is ready to enter. Afterward, Petra informs Ender that the battle room is open for practice 24/7. Petra shows Ender a few tricks in the battle room to help him become a better shooter. After Ender accepts, Bonzo becomes furious when he sees them returning to the room together and tells Ender he cannot practice. Ender asks Bonzo for a private conversation and informs him he'll respect Bonzo's orders during training but won't allow him to control his free time. Ender offers a simple deal. Bonzo can pretend he won this argument, and the next day he can tell anyone he changed his mind. That way he keeps his respect as a leader and Ender still gets his free time. In the morning, Bonzo does exactly what Ender said the previous night. Later, the first match begins, and Ender stays in his corner of the room as Bonzo asks him. However, their team begins to lose miserably, so Ender jumps in to help Petra and make a plan together. Petra pushes Ender while he pretends to be frozen. This allows him to steal some guns and start a one-man attack that takes the enemy by surprise and gets the victory for the Salamander's army. Graf is delighted to see Ender shine in the match. During lunch, the other Salamanders call Bonzo loser for holding Ender back. Bonzo interrupts Ender and Petra's training session to punch him and threaten to kill him if he ever makes Ender look foolish again. When it's time to turn to bed, Ender picks up the game on his tablet again and the rat finds a bug-like creature that wants him to do something he can't understand. The creature transforms into Valentine, who suddenly has to run away when the area is attacked. The rat follows Valentine into a distorted building and after transforming into Ender, he finds a weird globe with Valentine inside in the middle of the globe. Then the floor mat becomes a monster and attacks Ender in the game, causing Peter to appear in the globe and call Ender a killer. Terrified, Ender immediately closes the game. Graf is furious with Anderson because he believes her game is damaging Ender's psychological state. Anderson explains she doesn't understand how these images got into the game and that she can't modify them, so Graf makes her delete the game entirely. Afterward, Graf decides to accelerate some promotions in the program to be ready in time. Ender is called to his office and he is asked if he is interested in commanding his own team, the Dragon Army, which was a name that was discontinued 4 years ago because the team wasn't successful. Graf thinks Ender can have his own team of freaks like him, and Ender accepts. After Dap shows Ender his new quarters and finally treats him with respect, Ender meets his new team, which includes Eli, Bean, and Bernard. Ender surprises everyone by asking for mutual respect and to be told of any ideas they may have because teamwork is the most important. From then on, Ender tells his team to work hard again and again, making things even with Bernard. They soon reach third place in the team ranking. Anderson reminds Graf that their higher-ups are impatient and want a decision on which team will advance any day now, but Graf fixed this. Graf proposes something that has never been done before, a battle with 3 teams, including the 3 first places, Dragons, Salamanders, and Leopard's army. When the news is brought to the team suddenly, one of the guys gets hurt while getting ready. Ender sends him to the clinic and gets ready to approach this challenge with a smaller team, but luckily, Graf sends Petra as a replacement. In order to get rid of the campers by the gate, Ender sends Petra with a boy as a shield. Then, he ties a rope around Bean and makes him scout the room for intel. This gives enough information for Ender to make a plan. The whole team makes a shield around Eli and they move straight to the enemy's gate, winning the game. After the game, Bonzo approaches Ender in the showers for a fight. Ender doesn't want to but has no choice and he defends himself, accidentally pushing Bonzo too hard and making him hit his head on the ground. An unresponsive Bonzo is immediately taken to the clinic for surgery and Anderson and Petra try to comfort Ender, but Graf interrupts them to talk to Ender alone. He swears Bonzo is going to live, but Ender doesn't believe him, so Graf admits Bonzo will be sent back to Earth for a speedy recovery. Ender wants to go with him and see his sister, but since Graf refuses to give him time off, Ender quits. Graf reminds Anderson to see the students as soldiers rather than children if humanity wants to survive. Sometime later on Earth, Valentine arrives at her home to find Graf there, asking her for help. Valentine knows Graf wants to use her to make Ender rejoin the army, and Graf simply replies he wants Ender to save lives. Then Graf asks Valentine to see Ender, who takes her on a boat ride so they can have some conversation alone. Ender explains how bad he feels for having to destroy lives because to understand an enemy, he needs to love them. Valentine reminds him that hurting Bonzo was self-defense and explains that she refuses to convince him to rejoin like Graf wants her to, but she doesn't think Ender is here because he's afraid. She points out that he can't hide here forever and that if he doesn't try, everything will be lost. Ender accepts to go back to the army, but only if Graf doesn't block his emails between him and Valentine. Instead of going back to battle school, Ender is taken to the command base near the Formic home planet, where he has earned the right and and commands to train for the final test. If all goes well, Ender'll get to command the entire army. This base is on a planet that used to belong to the Formics until humans drove them away almost 3 decades ago. Ender doesn't understand why they need to keep attacking the Formics if they're contained on their own planet, and Graf explains it's in order to stop them from attacking Earth again in the future. Dab shows Ender to his upgraded room, which includes an oxygen tank in case there's a need for an exit. The next morning, Ender is surprised by the sudden appearance of a weird tattooed man that jumps on him and reminds him to trust nobody, not even his teachers. He turns out to be Mazer, who isn't dead after all, so Ender gets to wonder why they cut the footage of Mazer's victory right after he destroys the carrier. As Mazer shows Ender the recording, it's revealed that all the Formic ships stopped attacking after Mazer destroyed the primary carrier. According to Mazer, Formics are compared to ants for a reason. They depend on their queen, and if she is out of commission, they won't think for themselves. Since Mazer isn't 100% certain that he destroyed the queen's ship, they can't rely on that strategy yet. There must be another queen on the Formic planet, and the only reason they left was to seek water. Afterward, Mazer takes Ender to meet the team that will assist him during the training simulations, which includes Bernard, Bean, Petra, and Eli. Then Mazer shows the team how the Formics have been growing their military power at a growing rate, so they'll have to attack and fight first to prevent them from going out again, even if Ender doesn't think it's fair to go after creatures that are keeping to themselves and protecting their planet. The simulations will begin with photoreal simulations to best approximate real battles, and Ender will command the overall strategy that he'll pass on to his teammates, who will each command a battle group formed by drones and small spaceships. The most important thing is to protect the MD-500, a lethal weapon that can fire a small set of bombs, and Petra is trained to fire. For the first few simulations, Ender and his team fly through them without issues and hurdles, gathering victory after victory each time. But the simulations keep getting more complex and real, and after a few months of pure pressure, Ender loses his first battle and goes disappointed. Mazer yells at Ender for his failure, and when Ender points out he can't win if he doesn't take risks, Mazer points out he needs to focus on the big picture of war and leave the small mob-ups to his team members. As Graf explains, Mazer is frustrated because he has trained many teams in the past and they all lost, but Ender will be the last since there isn't time for anyone else. The higher-ups have decided that tomorrow will be Ender's final simulation, and if he wins, he'll command the entire army. In the evening, Ender emails Petra explaining he doesn't want to fight a war and wishes he could speak to their enemies to understand them better. Petra reminds him that studies on Formic bodies show they can't speak, making Ender wish he could talk to them instead. The evening, Ender gets ready with his team for the final simulation, which is watched by Graf, Mazer, and their seniors. This simulation will be staged on the Formic home planet, where they immediately see the enemy fleet. Ender orders Eli to engage so Petra can fire the MD-500, a lethal weapon at a swarm, but this only causes the rest of the Formic fleet to leave the planet and come after them. Since the MD-500 needs time to reload, Ender copies the technique he used in the battle room. He surrounds their main weapon with the other smaller ships as a shield so they can protect it. Then he makes Petra fly the MD-500 toward the planet, and since the shield begins burning when they enter the atmosphere, Ender asks Bean to send his drones to take care of the incoming swarm so they can at least have a clear way towards the planet. Once the MD-500 is recharged and close enough, Ender makes Petra fire the weapon. This effectively destroys every single thing on the planet and wins the fight. Mazer and Graf come to congratulate Ender and thank him for saving humanity, because it turns out that hadn't been a simulation, it had been the real deal. Ender immediately breaks down when he realizes he abandoned their own soldiers to use them as a shield and has destroyed an entire species that maybe been just preparing to defend themselves, considering they never went back to Earth in 50 years. The others try to call Endera a hero, but he can only see himself as a killer. In order to keep Ender from losing it, a nurse gives him an injection and takes him to his room, where Petra watches over him. As Ender dreams, the bug creature from the game comes to life, and he realizes that it's the Formic Queen protecting the sphere in the building and trying to communicate with him. Finally understanding what she needs, Ender wakes up and runs out of the room to leave the base, so Petra has to follow him to bring him an oxygen tank before he dies out of oxygen. Ender is thankful but sends her back because he must do this alone. Then he proceeds to walk into the collapsed building, where he finds a Formic queen with a globe, which is actually an egg. The Formics never intended to fight humans, they had only been looking for water for their new babies and the next generation. The queen comes closer and puts her paw on Ender, but she lets go when she sees he is not a threat to them. Because Ender understands the queen is dying, he takes the egg and promises to take care of it. After the war is over, Ender is promoted to admiral and given his own ship. In return for his sins, he starts a new Formic colony with the egg. Subscribe to Universal Recaps and turn on notifications for regular updates. Give a thumbs up if you like our content.